Hi, welcome to this DNB OSCE Ophthalmology session on mastering the power cross. We will cover the 10 golden points. So here we start. This is the patient. Now working distance is 1 meter. Cyclopentolate was used. There is one cycloplegic retinoscopy was done. Working distance is 2 by 3 meter. Home atropine 2% was used. So now we first see the 90-degree rule. When two meridians on a power cross are exactly 90-degree apart, such as 90 and 180, this is known as regular astigmatism. Okay. Second is when the two meridian differ by 90-degree, but they are not on standard axis. These are like 30, 120 or 45, 135. This is also astigmatism, but it is regular oblique. When 90 and 180, this is known as regular astigmatism. When these are not at 90, 180, but other axis, this is known as regular oblique astigmatism. Okay, the difference should be 90-degree on the both axis. However, if the meridian are not at 90-degree apart, the astigmatism is irregular. It is seen in corneal scar patient or keratoconus. So we will focus our attention only towards this regular oblique or regular astigmatism question. Second point, how the lens component work. See, there are two parts. First is sphere, second is cylindrical. The sphere will act in all 360-degree meridian. Think of it as a uniform power which is acting in every direction. However, the cylinder will act only in the meridian perpendicular to it. So, if a cylinder is of +2 diopter at 90-degree, so it will act at 180-degree. You just add 90-degree axis is written. Here it is written 90-degree. You add 90-degree to it. So you get final at what power it is acting. So here it will act at 180-degree. Second example is if cylindrical is if there is +1 cylindrical at 30-degree. So if you add 90, so it will act at 120-degree power. Next point number 3, we need to see the working distance. Working distance is the distance between the retinoscope and the patient. The formula for working distance correction is it is 1 divided by the distance in meter. Make sure the distance is in meter, not in centimeter. So it is easy to remember. If the distance is 1 meter, subtract 1. If it is half, then you need to subtract 2. If it is 2 by 3, then you need to subtract 1.5. This will be given in the questions. Okay, we just need to flip the values. Like if it is 2 by 3, we need to flip it and it is 3 by 2. So if we divide it, then it comes to 1.5. And if the distance is half, if we flip it, then it is 2 by 1. So it is -2. Same in case of 1. It is easy to remember. Next point number 4, cycloplegic drug correction. So if we use some cycloplegic agent, so we need to subtract additional value from the spherical power to get the final glass prescription or the PMT value. PMT is post-mydriatic test. If somebody is using atropine, we need to subtract 1 diopter. If somebody is using home atropine, we need to subtract 0.5. Similar in case of cyclopentolate, we need to subtract 0.75 diopter and tropicamide 0.25. Important here to notice, phenylephrine, if it is used when it is not having any cycloplegic action, only dilation effect is there. So if the question mentioned phenylephrine is used, you no need to subtract anything from the power cross value. Fifth point is if the patient is phakic or pseudophakia. So that means there is no action on the ciliary muscle. So there is no need to detect any cycloplegic correction in them, regardless of any drug they use for dilation and for cycloplegia, since there is no accommodation. So let's see this example. We are doing retinoscopy at 1 meter distance using atropine. We know that atropine have a -1 value. And if the working distance is 1 meter, it is also having -1. The patient is aphakic. So we will subtract only working distance of -1, not of atropine from this. So this is my horizontal and this is vertical meridian. Horizontal mein it is 2.5, vertical it is 2. So if we subtract -1 from both, we will get it at horizontal +1.5, at vertical 1. Okay, here we are just subtracting the working distance, not the drug action, because the patient is aphakic. Now second trap what they can put in the question is when the patient is using trial frame. Okay, they will be asked like, when the lens is already placed in the trial frame, what additional lens required to neutralize it? We will see with this example. Let's suppose the net power after the working distance comes out to be +5 diopter in both the axes, vertical and horizontal. The question mentioned that somebody have placed +3 dioptric lens in the tri frame. Now, how much additional lens power is required? It is simple. Just subtract 5 diopter with this 3 value. So it is 5 diopter in vertical horizontal minus this 3 diopter. So our net powers comes out to be +2 diopter. So this question having +5, if we subtract -3 with this, so it was +2 in both vertical and horizontal meridian. Second is writing prescription from the power cross. See, there are two methods. If let's suppose the patient is hyperopic, here the vertical and horizontal comes out to be +2, +1. Now how we are going to do it? We first start with the lowest value. If you see left hand side, what is my lowest value? It is in horizontal meridian we are having +1 and vertical meridian we are having +2. So which is the lowest? It is +1 spherical at the horizontal. So we take this value as a sphere, like +1 spherical. Now how we'll calculate the cylindrical value? Other axis ka power will take and subtract with this value. That is, if we are taking this my horizontal as spherical, then other axis we will subtract this value. So like this is, we will take +2 minus +1. So we'll get our cylindrical value. +1 cylindrical at 180 degree, because cylindrical will act in the opposite meridian. So that's why 180 degree is mentioned. It will act in vertical meridian. Now suppose there is another way to solve this. If we are taking sphere of the higher value, in this example, higher value is +1 in the horizontal and +2 in vertical. So what is the higher value in this? It is +2. So we have calculated our spherical value. Now how we are going to calculate our cylindrical value is simple. If we have taken vertical +2, then now in the calculation we will use this. What is left is +1. We will minus with the other meridian. Because sphere may we have already used this vertical meridian. Now we will put this +1, what is an eminent, minus the other meridian value. So now our net result is -1 degree diopter cylinder. We want it to make it at horizontal meridian, so we will place it at 90 degree. Let's see with the other example. So for example, this patient is myopic with regular astigmatism. So we have -1 diopter in vertical and -2 diopter at horizontal. So if we are taking this lower value of -1 as sphere, so it comes out to be -1 diopter sphere. Now to find the power in other meridian, we will take this -2 minus the other meridian value. So now it will come to -1 and the meridian will be perpendicular to this, to whom we are taking. So it is at 90 degree. Let's see with the other example in myopic patient. Now we are taking a sphere of higher value, that is -2. If we are taking sphere of minus higher value -2, so to find the power of cylinder, we are using vertical meridian now. Vertical meridian minus the horizontal meridian value. So this will comes out to be +1 cylinder at 180 degree. So in this example, you have seen that my cylinder can be plus or cylinder can be negative. This is known as minus cylindrical form and other is known as plus cylindrical form. Sometimes in the question they will ask to write your answer in plus cylinder form and to write your answer in minus cylinder form. Now sometime the question will ask, you need to transpose your value. What is this transposition principle? How we can easily convert this plus cylinder to minus cylinder form easily and quickly. This is one mnemonic SAO. transposition. Middle is SPO. We just have to say SAO. In this, S stand for new sphere equals to old sphere plus the old cylinder. A is the new axis equal to old axis plus minus 90 degree. O means new cylinder gets the opposite sign but same power. So all three components have been taken care of. Like for in this example, it is minus 2.5 diopter sphere, minus 1 diopter cylinder at 90 degree. So what is our first rule? It say that we need to add cylinder to the sphere. So if we add minus 2.5 plus cylinder value is minus 1. So minus 1 if we add, so our total value is minus 3.5. This is the new spherical value. New cylindrical is what we are having the minus 1. We just need to change the sign. So it comes to be plus 1. And what about the axis? Plus minus 90 degree, because we are treating regular or oblique astigmatism. So our axis will be opposite, perpendicular opposite. So plus 90 plus 90 is 180 degree. So this is our quick method to solve. And when the minus is given, minus 1 DC at 90, this is our minus form. If plus 1 DC at 180 degree, it is our plus cylindrical form of representation. So what is plus cylinder and what is minus cylinder? After sphere, just see, is your cylindrical value plus or is your cylindrical value minus? So in above, it is plus 1, in below, it is minus 1. So if we want to get quickly to our plus cylinder form, so we need to search for the sphere with the lowest value possible. Means when we are calculating from the power cross, we need to have a sphere which is contained the lowest. Then we will get the cylinder of plus value. And if we want to have a minus cylindrical form, then we need to choose the sphere power which is higher. In this horizontal table, on this horizontal line diagram, here it is 0, it is plus 1 plus 2 plus 3, and it is minus 1 minus 2 minus 3. If we go more towards the left side, we'll have the lower spherical value because it is in minus. If we go more towards the right side, we have the high spherical value that is in plus. Now let's apply all this principle to our practice station. The first question is post cataract surgery, child, bilateral value is given, working distance is 1 meter, cyclopentolate 1% is used. Right eye gross retinoscopic value is plus 3 diopter at 90, plus 4 diopter at 180. Left eye gross value is 3.5 and 90, plus 5 point at 180 degree. So question is, what is the complete spectacle power in plus cylinder form? What additional optical consideration must be mentioned? With question, we know that working distance is 1 meter. So we know how much to subtract is minus 1. So right eye is constructing the same power cross. Make sure that in every question you are making this power cross, then only solving. First step is to subtracting the power cross with working distance. So plus 3 minus 1 is plus 2, and horizontal में plus 4 minus 1 is plus 3. Left eye का plus 3.5 minus 1 plus 5 minus 1. So 2.5 and 4. So if we want to have in plus cylindrical form of the value, then we need to choose sphere of the low value. If you see plus 2 plus 3, which is our low, is the plus 2 value. So we are choosing plus 2 as spherical form. So then only our cylindrical value will be in plus form. So remnant is plus 1 at 90 degree. In this example, if we are choosing a sphere of lower value 2.5, then our cylindrical power is plus form. So remnant is plus 1.5 cylindrical at 90 degree. Next question is post cataract surgery. What is the optical consideration? First point is, in this, prescribe the full correction immediately to prevent the amblyopia. Second, add bifocal add plus 3 diopter to the near correction since child has no accommodation. Third is, if child is having amblyopia or anisometropia, then consider for occlusion therapy. If you see in this question, we have not subtracted the atropine or hometropine or cycloplegic action because the child has post cataract pseudophakic patient is there. Only working distance we have subtracted. Make sure in question you are reading whatever they have mentioned. Next question is, this is oblique cross. Working distance is 2 by 3rd meter. The gross power cross shown, it is plus 5 diopter at 135 and 3.5 diopter at 45 degree. The following question is, power of lens required to neutralize reflex at 45 degree If +7 diopter lens is placed in the trial film, additional power lens is required to neutralize at 135. What is the final spectacle prescription? Write in plus cylinder form and minus cylinder form both. Making our cross first, and first is for working distance correction. We know the formula 1 by working distance. So 2 by third, we know that we need to subtract 1.5. So in both axes, quickly we subtract 1.5, 1.5. So our net value is plus 3.5 at 135 plus 2 at 45 degree. So our question asks power to neutralize at 45 degree. So it is plus 2 diopter. Second question was if +7 diopter of lens is in trial frame, what additional power is required at only 135? Okay. So net required at 135 degree is 3.5 and 7.5 is already there in trial frame. So what we'll do is we will minus 3.5 minus 7. So it is comes out to be minus 3.5 diopter. This is required at 135 degree. Okay, next question is final spectacle prescription in plus cylinder form. If we need to have a in plus cylinder form, you know that we need to choose sphere of the low value. In 3.5 plus 2, our low value is plus 2. So we'll choose it plus 2 diopter spherical. Then the remnant is 1.5 diopter cylindrical at 45 degree axis. So this is my in plus cylindrical form. Now quickly using transposition principle, we will convert into negative cylinder form. So what we do is we will add both spherical and cylindrical value. So what it comes out to 3.5, 2 plus 1.5 is 3.5, and we will change the sign in the cylindrical. Plus 1.5 say it comes to minus 1.5, and plus, and this axis ka 45 degree will add 90 degree. So it comes out to be 135 degree. Next question is cycloplegic retinoscopy. Working distance is 2.5. Home atropine. Gross power in right eye is minus 2 at 90 degree, minus 3.5 at 180 degree. So question is, what will be the acceptance of the glasses in dilated condition? What will be the transposition principle for above acceptance? What will be the PMT prescription for this patient? So first we quickly make our power cross and calculate the working distance. Working distance 2 by third, we need to subtract 1.5. So from both axes we'll subtract 1.5, 1.5. So it is minus 3.5 in vertical and minus 5 in horizontal. So the patient is myopic. We need to get answer. We need to myopic patient prefer in minus form. From this both, we will choose sphere of lower value. If you see minus 3.5, minus 5, algebraically 5 is greater value. But in that vertical sheet, 3.5 is a low spherical value than minus 5. So we will start with minus 3.5 diopter sphere. Remnant is minus 1.5 at 90 degree. How will reach this minus 1.5? If we have chosen vertical 3.5 sphere, so we are placing it here minus 3.5, and minus 1.5 is coming by minus 5 minus 3.5. So it comes out to be 1.5. Next question is, what is the PMT prescription for this patient? So with home atropine, we need to correct 0.5 diopter subtracted from the sphere only. So sphere was having 3.5 minus 3.5 with minus 1.5 and diopter cylindrical at 90 degree. We don't touch the cylindrical value. We will just subtract 0.5 value with the spherical value. So our net comes out to be minus 4 with minus 1.5 cylindrical at 90 degree. Just make sure we are subtracting this post correction value of any cycloplegic from the spherical value only. Remember, gross minus working distance equal to acceptance. Acceptance minus drug equal to PMT, all final prescription. So this concludes this session. Below will be the Google link. You will receive the download link for this PDF file.